Hello, all you beautiful fishes out there. It's Lord Magicus, and it is once again time to go and jam some more Merfolk and Modern. Yeah, we're coming off a weekend where our boy Nikachu just took down the NRG series with Merfolk. So, that obviously means Merfolk number one, right? Yeah, he beat a 10K with it. It's pretty awesome. It's a really good look to the deck at the beginning of a modern season. So let's hope that keeps up this energy the throughout the modern pro tour coming up. So that'd be very nice. I have no idea if any of the pro players will actually bring Merfolk. Like, it's not a deck that most of them care to play most of the time, but I feel like it would still probably be a really good choice because and Nikachu has described Nado and both and Ruby Storm are apparently supposed to be really good matchups. And Scam is not terribly good versus Nadu, so the metagame is actually fairly decently positioned for Merfolk, where we're good against some of the top decks, and one of our worst experiences is not very good at the moment, so we'll see. Yeah, so let me just get this out there quick. Get these links posted. All right, here we go. Yeah. All right, excellent. So now, yeah, normally I do this at the end of the video, but maybe we'll try doing this at the beginning for a change. If you like watching me play Merfolk and Magic the Gathering, do me a favor and on watch the replays and hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. I will put the Linktree link in the chat here. Just here we go. Do you think the worst matchup is the Boros Energy deck right now? I haven't gotten to face it yet. I haven't got a whole lot of play testing in Modern just yet. I've only got maybe like 10 matches or so. So I guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, if you really like what I do, do me a favor, and the YouTube link is on there, and you can thumbs up on the videos and subscribe to the YouTube. I always put the replays there, usually about a day after they're live here. Also, my Twitter links are there if you want to follow me. I have some really bomb-ass Twitter posts every now and then, so worth following. But yeah, we're here to play fishes, so we should probably get this deck put together here. All right. Add deck. Actually, you know what? I have to probably remove the old one first before I bother making the new one. Yeah. All right. Import. Fish. That's the one. And we are on our mono blue one, so you use the appropriate deck box for this. Thank you. I appreciate you following me for that. I've seen since last week. The last league that I posted was a 4-1, and I actually did post it to the Merfolk subreddit, and it is one of the most viewed videos I've had in my channel in like the last like year or two already. It's actually really really crazy. I guess people are really hungry for that Merfolk content. So yeah, it's one of the few videos I have that actually has more views on it uh, than I have subscribers in the channel, which is insane. So that means it must really be getting some attention. I love that for me. It's a good time. But yeah, I don't do this to get like money or anything. I just do it because I like people giving me attention. So yeah, if you want to follow me on there, or if you feel particularly like enthused by what I do, you can sub to me on the Twitch. That's fine. I usually do this like once a week, so I appreciate it. Where's my... Here we go. So now we can see the actual full deck list here. So yeah, this is the basic shell of what we want to do. Nikachu played his list slightly differently than this. I'm playing, yeah, I am playing one less land because he actually played 4 copies of Sink in the Stupor. I'm only going to play 3, but he's also playing, I think, one less Harbinger of the Seas. I just really like this card, and it's still new, and I want to test it. And the other card that I think he was playing one less Dockhand as well, and I believe I think he had one more island than I did too. So yeah, we switch we switch a Harbinger for a Stupor, add an island, and minus a Dockhand, and then he put 2 Tricksters in the main deck. And then I have 3 Tricksters in the sideboard, whereas I think he only had 2 in his sideboard, and the 4th Dismember over there. Um, I think we definitely need the Dismembers. I am very skeptical about like playing 4 Sink into Stupor and 4 Dismembers. Because if you have to play this Dismember off this Sink into Stupor, that's a 7 life for a removal spell, and that is a lot. And I'm willing to do that once, but like once you start having to do it like with 2 Dismembers and that hurts a lot. So I'm not entirely sure how much life we can afford to spend. It might be that the 4th Dismember does in fact matter that much. But yeah, and we'll see. I mean, most of these lists, like it really kind of depends on the pilot preference. So, like stuff like the Oboro, this is not necessary at all. And if you anticipate that people are gonna try to bring in Blood Moon to get you, you can take this out and take out the Minamo and play like extra islands in your deck. But I have played against the Merfolk mirror. Like there are people out there doing it. So and Oboro does help with that because it means that you don't have to play an island, so you can force your opponent to have to do something like Tide Shaper or Harbinger of the Seas in order to get Island Walk against you. So there's some utility in that. Um, yeah, and the other thing is I think he also played like one less Cavern of Souls because having enough blue sources to cast Force of Negation, Flare of Denial, and Sink into Stupor for 1 colorless blue on turn 3. Yeah, you probably want like 16. I think 15 is probably the absolute minimum. It puts you somewhere in like the 85 to 90% range, where I think 16 gets you somewhere like 90 to 91%. In the mirror match, yes, you can absolutely side out Lord of Atlantis. This card is very dangerous. However, the other card you might want to consider siding out is Harbinger of the Seas, especially because, like I said, if you're trying to keep your opponent from getting Island Walk against you, you don't necessarily want to be playing this sometimes. Like, if they have an island in play and you don't, you playing Harbinger of the Seas is just giving your opponent free Island Walk. So, yeah, it's a really awkward kind of card to play there, as we found out. Similar to how Lord of Atlantis works, where it'll give your opponent Island Walk against you. So I think these are 2 cards where you definitely consider siding them out, probably for stuff like Harbinger, Trickster, and Tidebinder. Like Force of Negation and Flare of Denial can also come out. Like, honestly, almost every card in the sideboard is better than, like, these guys here and, like, the Lord. So we do have cards we can side out for the mirror and stuff we can bring in to replace it. You don't always have to take out all the Lord of Atlantis, but like probably you should take out like at least 2 of them because it is a good card. If it's the last card you play, it is actually really good because you do want some Island Walk to kill them, but you don't want to you don't want to be forced to like play this in turn 2 or 3. This is something you want to have on like turn 4 when you are going to kill them, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's really the mirror match with Merfolk is just like really dumb because a lot of it is a play draw. A lot of it is whether you have Vial versus they don't. A lot of it is like whether game 1 you're stuck with a bunch of like forces or flares that you can't do anything with, and also if you have like Lord of Atlantis or Harbinger of the Seas that are not terribly great to play against them. So it's a really interesting kind of what cards did you end up keeping for it and who's going first kind of thing. So. What's up, pessimist scientist? Yeah, we're playing our Merfolk in Modern this week again. So this is the list I have selected for us. Just talking about some of the choices here. I personally hate my cards getting countered by like counterspell. Like it feels so bad because like we have Vial and we have Cavern of Souls, and just anytime that our opponent counters our creatures, it just feels like we've failed somehow. So even like you can play like you can get away with 2. Nikachu I think only played 2, but I don't think that we can afford to play 4 as long as we're playing all these spells in our deck because we really do want to have blue, and I think like 15 sources is probably like the minimum number of blue sources we can play if we want to do that. So yeah, the 3 and 3 it feels like a pretty good number to me, so that's what I'm gonna go with. But it may be correct that we might only need 2 of these. However, like I said, I really prefer to have this card. I mean, it gets turned off when Harbinger of the Seas is in play anyway, so then it turns it into blue mana for this. So it's not that big a deal sometimes, but there's a little bit of like pressure against us hard casting our spells, and it is actually important. So people were asking in the Discord earlier, does it actually matter that we're hard casting these spells? And the answer is yes, because you don't want to 2-for-1 yourself against like too many cards. Like we don't have a whole lot of card advantage in this deck, so we need to get good mileage out of what we have. We don't If we don't have to 2-for-1 ourselves, then that's better. So, especially if you're playing a Vial deck, you want to use the Vial to put the creatures in play and the mana to cast these interactive spells. And then if they don't do anything, then you can either cast these spells or you like flash in Hexcatcher or something, ideally. Same thing, like we side in a bunch of like flash creatures. So if we really need to, we can kind of play like a control deck. And the idea is we only have to put things into play at the end of our opponent's turn. But you really need to be able to have mana to hold up these spells. So you don't have to constantly 2-for-1 yourself and say like Force of Negation just because you don't have the second blue mana to actually hardcast the spell. Our only card advantage right now is Svyelun. That is correct. So we do have stuff like Seas in the sideboard that like sort of is, but really, yeah, Svyelun is our card advantage engine, and we make up for it a little bit too because we want to play a bunch of lands that actually do things. So like Mutavault is like both a threat and a land, so we're kind of double dipping and stuff like that. Same thing with like Sink into Stupor. It's both mana that we need, but also interaction. So we get a little bit more value out of it that way. And that's also why our sideboard is comprised of a lot of like creatures that are also like spells on a stick, basically. We know that we want to have some amount of interaction for a lot of these decks, but we don't necessarily always know what interaction is going to be the best. So once we know like what the appropriate interaction is, then we can side in stuff so our threats are also our answers, which is one of the advantages of playing a deck like this. We're not really an aggro deck. We're more like a tempo deck, or it means we can play an aggressive role or we can play a control role. And like a lot of these cards help us to do either one of those. If we need it to be aggressive, then we know which, like if we need Trickster, we can push it early and then back it up with Lords, or we can use it to slow our opponent down so we can get stuff like Svyelun online and then start going to town with that. So yeah, but we don't necessarily have a whole lot of things that draw us extra cards, but we try to make better use out of the stuff that we do have where it can perform multiple roles at the same time. So why for a lot of people will say like the Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident are sometimes like actually like the worst cards in the deck, simply because they don't actually do anything like when they hit the board. I mean, yeah, you have stuff like Tideshaper, which has an effect when it enters the board. Like, Vodalian Hexcatcher is a counterspell as long as it's on the board. Like, Harbinger of the Seas does a thing, like, once it's in play. But these guys just kind of sit there and just, they're for the aggro plan. So, if you're up against a deck with, like, lots of removal, then the Lords are not always very good. Because if you don't have a bunch of creatures in play, then they're not helping you very much. That's why, like, a lot of the stuff, they do things and are damage. That's the advantage. So yeah, it's a little bit different than kind of how a lot of decks are, because a lot of decks will just rely on actually like drawing a bajillion cards. We don't get to do that generally. We want to like get the game to a point where Svyelun can come online and then just keep attacking if we need to grind out. Like some games, like if we're up against Ruby Storm, that is not going to be the game plan. We are just going to burn everything we can and just try to kill them quickly. And stuff like Flare of Denial and Force of Negation will help us do that. Present a clock while also being able to interact with them. But I don't think cards like Svyelun are they're probably not very good, because this is something you want when the game goes long. And a lot of like a lot of decks in Modern, the game's not going to go long, but the longer the game goes, like the better Svyelun's going to be. So if we need to grind a game out, this is our best tool to do that. Alright, enough talk. We're here to play Magic, right? So we should probably like do that. Alright, so there you go. Bring the chat back up. All right, we got our deck here. So we did really well last week. I'm still kind of learning a lot of this metagame. I'm not familiar with all of the cards just yet. I have a rough idea of like what some of the decks are doing, but like some of this stuff is still new to me. Instead of playing paper tonight at my LGS, I'm here with you guys, so you get to see me experience this in real time instead of me getting to practice off stream. So, what's up, Dark Merfolk? Yeah, all right, let's see how we do tonight. Svyelun best artwork prize. Do I think Counterspell is better than Spell Pierce as a budget Force of Negation with Harbinger? The 2 blue cost seems more manageable. So, it depends. I have definitely played... we're on the place. Let's do that. It really depends what decks you're concerned about. I think we got to keep this, right? We'll probably just jam, our Tide Shaper in turn 1. This is like the typical kind of thing where... Let's see. How do we want to do this? Think... We probably play the Cavern of Souls on turn 2. I mean, if we draw more lands, it's possible we might want to actually use this Otawara, so I guess we're playing the Cavern of Souls first. I'm just thinking about if there's any chance that we might want to, like, bait our opponent into holding up, like, a snare or something like that, but it's unlikely. Like, so sequencing our mana here is probably better like this. So, yeah, Spell Pierce versus Force of Negation really depends upon what matchups you're worth. Or, I mean, versus Counterspell matters a lot more. Counterspell requiring 2 mana, it's way more clunky. Okay, well, this is good, because Harbinger of the Seas will get to kill this thing. Alright, well, that's dangerous as hell. Alright, so we definitely... I think we have to play the Hexcatcher here. Or we could just play the Tide Shaper and just send them back to the Stone Age. I like this plan a lot more. And we can even play the Mutavault to do this too. I think that sounds like a good plan to me. Right, I don't really like. They can theoretically have 3 mana and maybe play like Dryad this turn if we let them untap with the Saga. So that's not a good idea. So I don't know. I have played Spell Pierce and I've also played Counterspell. I've played Counterspell alongside Force of Negation too. So it depends how you want to design your deck. I think generally Spell Pierce is going to be a little bit better, but depending upon your metagame, there are definitely reasons to go in either direction. And I think the way that we build our mana base now usually supports Tide Shaper a little bit better. Or I'm sorry, it supports Counterspell a little bit more than it used to because of our 3 mana interactive spells, we have more blue sources to cast it with consistently. So there were a bunch of Vial lists. I mean, if you're up against a bunch of decks like, say, Scam and Jund, Vial lists actually probably... decks that you want to grind out stuff against, that you have to worry about a lot of discard, Vial list probably does look very appealing. Yeah, so that probably does, in fact, make sense. Probably gonna... Alright, Grazer here. They just have it all, don't they? Alright, oh, that's great. That's perfect. Okay, so there's no Karoo land, so it means no Dryad right now. And they're not going to get to do anything here. They're just going to die to this Harbinger of the Seas, it looks like. Alright, we play Otawara. Give ourselves islands here. Goodbye, Saga, goodbye, and yeah, give us islands here. I don't know. I am still very much a fan of Aether Vial, but like Vial is better against decks that are you want to interact with, like control decks usually. So like if you know that they're gonna have a bunch of removal or like a bunch of counter spells, Vial usually is a lot better. But when they have a bunch of like discard spells and a bunch of removal, then yeah, like you really don't. They played the third Urza Saga. Wow. All right, so we're up against Amulet Titan here. Yeah, when you're up against all right. What was I saying? Yeah, about like a scam and stuff like that. If there are Thoughtseize decks, Vial is not as good. So I could see it making sense to do that, especially because we do kind of want some more lands to hardcast these spells. But I still really like Vial, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with Vial right now. So I mean, to be fair, he lost. He got like Stone Rain 3 times that game. So yeah, I'd say that that's probably a scoop game. This is not quite the same as Nikachu's list. I adjusted it a little bit to how I like to play. Oh, we actually do need to like bring these cards in. So we do want Subtlety, and I think that we want Tidebinder. I am gonna reference Nikachu's sideboard guide though, because I am curious to like see what he thinks about some of these matches. I don't actually know if Amulet is on this list or not. I don't think Amulet is actually on his list. So so we just do it the way that I'm used to. Yeah, Tide Shaper is fine. I don't think I like Svyelun for this. Tishana's Tidebinder, yeah, probably want this too. Because it does stop like Titan. Yeah, he did for his patrons. He did put out the sideboard guide. So if you are a patron of his, you can find it. It's in his Discord. I don't think it's an exhaustive guide just yet, but we have to take out 3 more cards here. It's actually kind of hard. Flare, like all these are okay, but maybe I'm supposed just yeah, we can take out like a Dismember, a Flare, and maybe like a Dockhand here. I think the Hexcatcher is fine. Maybe we want Dockhand over the Hexcatcher. Like a lot of these cards are very good, so all right. We get it. We got our sideboard here. Okay, yeah, we did. See, like this is kind of where like Vial doesn't look very good. We don't really have anything to do with this. They've mulliganed to 6. I think we're supposed to mulligan as well. This is actually not any better. I think we're going to 5. We're probably just keeping like 2 or 3 lands and 2 creatures. Alright, this is better, I guess. Keep. Alright, so what do we want? We want Vial, Island. We might need to pitch this Dockhand or this Hexcatcher. I don't think we can afford to keep Dismember. I do think we want Harbinger of the Seas because if we can get this card out, it will save us. So this might slow them down a little bit. So I guess we're doing it like this. And if we have, we will pitch this to counter an Amulet in turn 1 if we have to. Okay, well now we can afford to just pitch a Harbinger. What's going? Okay, pass. So they could have Amulet here if they don't have any untapped lands. Okay, so no, it seems like their hand's pretty slow. That's good for us. We just need to live until Vial gets to 3. Alright, this is fine because we can always Vial in the Dockhand. We don't need to do anything here. And this is making our Vial on 3 a lot better, so it was not the worst 5-card hand we could have had. I don't think that our other hands would have been any better. Yes, unfortunately, that's a thing. can play an extra land, so... Alright, nope, nothing here. No, okay, so they have an Otawara. Alright, neat. So let's put Dockhand in play. So Flare would probably be our best draw this turn. It's not terrible. Let's see. We have to be concerned here. All right, so I don't have to, like, I can counter an amulet if they do that, or I can counter a Pact of Negation. I just have to be worried about what land I'm countering here. So, well, or what effect here matters the most? Making that a cop. Well, okay, so let's assume that we're gonna counter an amulet because they don't have one yet. So they can play Pat or Titan here. They'll probably have to spend. Yeah, so we okay. You know what? No, we have to use Dockhand. So we have to figure out what land on their upkeep. Yeah, we actually have to put a stop on their upkeep so that we can tap one of these lands down. So it matters what land we want to tap here. I guess probably the Mirror Pool. I don't think that matters. They have Dryad right now, so the Beseiju is just a forest for all intents and purposes. So it's either the Mirror Pool or the Mycosynth. I'm not sure which, but we're going to force an amulet anyway, so I am assuming that we probably don't need to worry about that. So even if they play a Karoo land, they can't actually cast anything right now. Yeah. I guess if we draw Dismember, that's pretty good. Okay, they don't have another land. That's excellent for us. That's also really good for us, too. All right. So we can play Tideshaper here. I guess... What is the most dangerous thing right now? I guess it doesn't matter because we're going to turn them all off anyway, but... Theoretically... I think that that's the thing that bails them out the most if they can find a way to unlock it. This has an Island Walk, so we can attack. We'll Vial and Harbinger in their turn just in case they have Dismember. So I don't want them to be doing it in my turn. So yeah, if they Dismember it, I can force. Alright. Yeah, so now they're only islands here because of Harbinger, so yeah. So they don't have Veil of Summer because they don't have green mana. Yep. Nope. Lord would be great. Ask and ye shall receive. This is pretty dominating, yeah. Like, they're dead next turn, so... Sure, the One Ring, you got it. It buys them a turn. I don't want to play the other Harbinger just yet, in case somehow they find another Dryad. I really would like to be able to play it in response to, like, a trigger. Okay. I don't think that there's any reason to play this Cavern of Souls, but I am going to Dockhand them here, so... Yeah, they have protection this turn, so... Let's let them lose the life first. So they have to play like a land and a one ring or they're dead, so yeah. Did you find another one ring? It looks like they did. Okay. They still can't play anything, so yeah, they can't actually like cast a Titan, so we're in pretty good shape. I'll leave that there. That's excellent. Okay. Sure. We'll just play that. Now we can deploy both things if we need to. I think that yeah, so they go to 5 here. I don't think that it matters. Yeah, I think that I'm supposed to just let them have 5 islands here. Sure. So if they play another one ring, then I still have time. I can activate Vial, and then if they do something stupid, then yeah. Okay, so they do have a forest here. What are they gonna do with it? I'm not gonna be casting any spells. I'm gonna activate Vial. And at this point, it almost doesn't even matter what they do with it. If they just cast another one ring, it's not going to be enough. Fire spout. Oh god. Okay. Well, they're at 4, and yeah, I think this is good that yeah we didn't play this right away. All right. Oh, they didn't spend any red mana on this. Yeah, so it doesn't work like that, opponent. Fire spout only deals damage to my board if they have red. So yeah. Let's see. Aha! Yeah, you could never get into card games other than Hearthstone. Well, then you would really be a fan of Teferi Time Raveler, because that's the card that makes Magic into Hearthstone. So yeah, yeah. The opponent thought that they could just tap the Garrison here for red mana to blow up my board, but they only had the green mana for this, and it only kills the flying creature, so it was a good try. We still probably would have been okay, because we could just Violent Harbinger anyway, and it would still have their lands turned off. They would only have the 1 mana anyway, but yeah, it would have been an actual game. But no, they didn't have the red mana, so yeah, they didn't actually have a way to blow up my creatures. Yeah, that was very dominating. And yeah, so yeah, with that board, that was pretty insane. Yeah, and like at the end of their turn, I just violin another Harbinger, hold up Tidebinder, and it feels like they were just gonna lose regardless. So like they go to actually, what was I thinking? Yeah, like I'd probably even attack them there, right? Because I think they had the one ring, they activate it, and they lose 2 life from the burden counters. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Yeah, that was a really deep hole for them. We got there in 5. Look at the power of Harbinger of the Seas. That card is fucking fantastic. Love to see it. Alright. It's a good start to this league. Get to decimate one of our longtime foes. Yeah, so the thing is, Titan is a very fast deck now. Like, they can sometimes get there like before you even get to 3 mana, but the thing is, if we land Harbinger, they are in a very deep hole that is very hard to climb out of. And that's why, like, having 4 is great, because then even if they have a Dismember, it's like, okay, well, I have a second one anyway, so good luck. That basic forest really is important to them. Alright, we are on the play again. That's good. This hand seems fine. So what? We go like Vial into probably another Vial and maybe Dismember. Hopefully, like Lord and Svyelun will just be enough here. Mold to 6. Yeah, sure. All right. This hand seems fine. Not perfect, but it's good enough. Like, ideally, this is another, like, creature, but yeah, you know. If we need to play this as a land, we can. If they don't play a creature here, then we might play it tapped. Who knows? Okay, so Preordain. So, what... Alright, Breeding Pool plus Preordain equals... I'm not actually sure. Is this a Nadu deck? Oh. Alright, let me get to my turn. Alright, so... Let's see. Okay, so this could actually be a control deck. So that might be... Alright, and if it is, then you know what, that's fine. Will probably mean this Aether Vial is really strong, so maybe we play Vial here and then sink into Stupor tapped. It could be Murktide, though I don't know that they'd be playing Breeding Pool. It is possible. I think most likely it's probably the blue-white control deck, but they're just playing like this card for their prismatic or them what prismatic endings in their ley lines. So let's get Aether Vial online. Because yeah, that gives, and we'll play the Sink into Stupor tapped. And we can Violin Dockhand at the end of their turn. So Delta, okay. I mean, I'm assuming this is getting like a Triome or maybe like a Hollowed Fountain. Swamp, okay, that's surprising. Psychic Frog, oh fuck, that's not good. Well, they have 5 cards in hand, so I guess it depends upon how many of them they want to pitch. So we could try to kill it with Dismember. Hmm. They'd have if they let's see if we dismember it now, they have to discard 4 cards to keep it alive. I feel like they're probably not going to do that. And we do have to erase it then. Okay. Which means we probably do it. We have to play this Hexcatcher, but I'm guessing they have their chances are they have a Necro Dominance, so hmm. I don't think that we want to play the probably don't want to play the Lord here. I think I don't know. I'm trying to think, Liz. If we dismember this thing, this is how, we're gonna lose. We're gonna go to 16, and then this is gonna attack us back for a bajillion. We probably need to. I'm not sure if this dismember is ever gonna do anything useful against them. All right. We might just have to attack them. Like, I think we might just be racing at this point. All right. Let's try to win this race. And then if they... Yeah, they're... Okay, so we don't have to worry about Necrodominus because they don't have mana for that right now. I'm very suspect of what goes on with this, though. It's 13. I mean, could it be like Death Shadow, maybe? With Psychic Frog? That's possible, I guess. Hmm. The Dismember would actually be kind of useful against that. I am not blocking this thing. Okay. Because I don't want them to just discard a bunch of stuff and kill my creatures. Does kind of feel like maybe there's removal here. It's not bad. We might actually want this for later. Alright, we'll put Svyelun in. Attack. Like, we're protected against most things, I think, at this point. Okay. Like, I think Hexcatcher probably means that we're fine. Otherworldly Gaze. This Profane Tutor. What the fuck is this? Is this like... I am very confused about what's going on here. Alright. This is not a deck list that I am familiar with whatsoever. Huh. I guess it could be like some sort of dredge. I don't know. Very, very... It's hard to say what we're up against. My best guess is that maybe this is like some kind of like Crabvine deck. Okay. I definitely don't have any notes that are going to help with this. All right, let's think about this. I am willing to bet that this is like the a Vengevine, Bloodghast, like Hedron Crab kind of deck. If I had to just take a stab in the dark. So that's the case. Dismember is probably not very good. Harbinger of the Seas still might actually be good against this deck, as it does turn off a lot of the stuff they want to cast. So I guess it also matters, like, what counterspells matter here. Yeah, the Harbinger does seem okay. I'm guessing that maybe Harbinger of the Tides is probably good. So if they make their frog big, we can just bounce it. And maybe, like, Merfolk Trickster or Tishana's Tidebinder. Either one of these could be. Might, like, they can give the frog flying, so Svyelun might not be terribly good, so we might want to bring in one of these tempo creatures instead. Let's think. Tidebinder doesn't really help against the frog that much. Maybe Trickster is fine, though. Alright, we'll try it like this. The good news is, though, they're going to give us Island Walk, so they are a blue deck. And, yeah, I don't think they can avoid playing an island because they need it for otherworldly gaze. This hand seems okay, right? It's not terribly great. We can always like pitch the flare to force. Yeah, like I think this is fine. We'll keep it. They mulled a 6. So if they play like otherworldly gaze, I'll probably force it. Thoughtseize. I think I would rather they not know what I have in my hands right now. Like, I don't feel like either of those cards are terribly good right now, and I would rather, like, keep these. And this is fine, I think. More creatures is kind of what we want at the moment, so... I'll probably just play a frog if I had to guess. Sure. Like, we weren't likely using the flare anytime soon anyway, so... And this feels like we can race this pretty easily. Alright, Merfolk. Probably just gonna flash in Hexcatcher. I mean, this is not a bad spot to play Lord. Well, it doesn't have Island Walk. They could play a blocker. I probably am better off playing Hexcatcher. I don't know exactly what they're going to do here, so... I can always flash it in at the end of their turn. Sure. I mean, it doesn't look like their hand is that good right now. They only have this frog, and like it looks like we probably should be able to race this. Especially if we find like one more Lord or like any of our tempo bears, this thing is going to get really bad. They don't have a whole lot of cards to dump into it. Okay, sure. They might not have another land either, so... Whatever they're, like, you know, these cards are just kind of, like, meaningless here. Put one top, one bottom with both. Alright, so... What do we got, opponent? Okay, Darkslick Shores. You're just going to cast another Preordain, or do you have a Gaze first? Sure. They do have to be careful, because, like, here, if we had Dismember, this thing actually would die. Alright, so they get to draw their card first. Alright, so now they can... Pithing Needle. I don't think that's actually that big a problem right now. They can turn off Aether Vial, but I can still just cast my spells. Like, they're definitely going to choose Aether Vial, but it doesn't actually matter to me. I have the mana, so... If we find, like, Harbinger of the Seas, like, they're going to have a hard time casting a bunch of spells, too, so... They're just going to have 3 blue. Like, I think they have to name the Vial, but, like, naming something like Hexcatcher or Mutavault, depending upon, like, you know, what their deck is like, it might make sense. They named Hexcatcher! Okay, see, like, that was actually cool. Alright. That's actually a really good read here. I mean... I don't know exactly what their plan is, but it does seem like we're just going to be aggressively attacking them here, so... Something they can't really do anything about this. Alright. We're racing. So we could have Flare, they don't know that. But I mean, this puts us in very good position to race them, so... Whatever they're doing, they have to have it now. They could have Damnation, so we gotta be careful about that. If they have Damnation, we're probably sunk. I'm not playing around that at the moment. Okay. Well, okay, so they have Goro's Vengeance, I see. Or retract the crime. I got it. Okay, that's okay. So it is a reanimator deck. We all right. That's fun. They get to draw a bunch of cards. What do we have? We have 10. We're gonna attack them for 13. What if we draw another lord? Do we just win? We actually attack them for 16 if we draw another lord, and they can't block. So a lord wins the game even through this. Something like Trickster would also be very fine just because it shuts this down. Like, they don't gain any life back. Like, we're not actually, like, dead here yet. Okay. They got Urza Saga, Breeding Pool, Preordain, Emrakul, and Fatal Push. Okay, Lord wins. So I guess I just need them not to, like, do this again with Emrakul. Okay, so they discarded Thoughtseize. So that was, like, their last card here, I guess. They have... So we know exactly what their hand is, right? Discard Breeding Pool. Sure. Urza Saga. Alright. Oh, I see. Yeah, they're going to try to win next turn, so... Cheapest place to buy a Merfolk deck for MTGO. Probably, like, either Goatbots or, what is it? What the hell is the other one? MTGO Traders, I think. Maybe Market might, so... Alright, we need something here right now. They actually will kill us with flying this turn. That will actually do, because, yeah, alright, so, they will not be killing us right now. Alright, they're at 2. So, yeah, they don't have the damage to kill us this turn. So I need them not to have another one of these things. Which, yeah, I think we're okay. Because this can only hit it when it's tapped, and I want to do it while they're tapped out just in case they draw something I don't anticipate. That's why. Goryo's Vengeance is exactly the draw they needed for that. Alright, we know that they just top decked this, right? So that's fine. The plus side is we actually know what they're doing at the moment, so okay. I guess we kind of boarded mostly how we needed to. So yeah, your Merfolk upgraded for MT. I mean, the other option is you could always use something like Mana Traders, which is like $30 a month or something like that to just rent the deck. Merfolk on MTGO is like somewhere around like 200-ish ticks, I think. Trickster does actually do something, because if they Goryo's Vengeance Emrakul into play, we can just Trickster and tap it, and then they just have to sacrifice it at the end of turn. They don't get to attack with it. So it actually does matter a lot. We need what? We need the counter spells, right? And I guess the only question is there anything that's not very good? Honestly, I think that we probably do have the right list. We just know what our interaction is that we need for the moment, so I think that most of these are fine. The only one I would maybe consider is Tishana's Tidebinder. Like, this card could be better than something. I don't know. It's close. I think that we're on the play. I think this is fine. Harbinger of the Seas does threaten to, like, let them not be able to cast most of their spells. And this is probably fine, too. We'll keep this. We have forces here, so even if they Thoughtseize us, it's not going to make a huge difference. We just need to draw a land, basically. If we draw a land, we probably win this game. Otherwise, we're still in good position. Like, we're too reliant on this Vial. Like, if they Pithing Needle Vial and we don't draw a land, then we are forced to, like, counter it. And it's not... We don't really want to be burning Force and Pithing Needle, so... Right. Beautiful. Look at this. Easy life. So good at this game. I can't counter that. If I had Flare, it would almost be worth countering with Flare. So that's how they put their stuff in the graveyard, but that's very good. Let's see. Let's play Lord, attack for 4. Have Force up. Like, that's probably good enough, right? Yeah, go ahead and attack, opponent. I fucking dare you. That extra card is not going to help you. I did not think so. There's a Saga. Okay. I'm going to leave this on 2, because if I draw a land, I want to be able to put Harbinger into play and play Force of Negation. Beautiful. Easy life. We will not be doing this, thank you. Go to 3. I'm sorry, go to 2, right? Because, yeah. I can do math, I promise. So it's 11. Yeah. Like, I don't think that there's anything they can do here, right? This seems hopeless for them. Yeah, we win. Okay. Excellent. Good games, opponent. So that was interesting. We were up against Goro's Vengeance. It's been a while. Okay. I haven't seen that deck, but that's a really interesting way to use the Psychic Frog. Seems like it's a pretty decent strategy. Yeah, because the frog itself becomes a threat, and yeah, it works well with your. So you have a plan A and a plan B. The combo decks that usually are the best are the ones that have an A and a B plan. So, and the frog seems like it's good at doing the A and B plan for Reanimator. So it's probably for the best. And they're also using that other card that just like lets you actually cast the Emrakul for 4 mana. So that's a plus. So here we go. Merfolk dominating 2-0. No, I mean, sometimes that's true. Like, they didn't play enough stuff that we knew what they were doing. I mean, if we knew what they were doing, there's some possibility that maybe we would, like, not pitch, like, Flare to Force of Negation. So... Or, we might realize that the Hexcatcher was a little bit more important. Unfortunately, I am not going to keep a one-land hand, so we're going to mulligan this. This actually is keepable. We do have Aether Vial, and this is a blue mana for us, so I'm going to keep this. We'll just put a Dismember on the bottom. Probably just lead off with Mutavault. Play Aether Vial. Oh god, please don't tell me we're up against, like, Scam. No? Okay. Good. I draw, like, that's not ideal. We don't really want to be drawing Vial when we don't really have anything to do with it. Like, yeah, if they are... Oh, okay. Well, this also still might be bad here. If this is the Boros deck, this hand's not very strong. Strike it rich? Oh, fuck, we're up against Ruby Storm, aren't we? Okay, yeah, this hand's not very good against Ruby Storm either, to be honest. So we're probably holding up this Dismember this turn. Yeah, we gotta kill this bitch. Yep. Ral is gonna die, because if we don't kill him, we're dead. And I think we're just playing Mutavault, Aether Vial, Dismember this thing, because we don't. I don't want to take the damage from this yet if I don't have to. All right. Svyelun Dockhand at the end of their turn. Okay. There's Ren's Resolve. You have another land? They do. Okay. I might actually Tideshaper this mountain in case I draw the... Yeah, well, no, we need to do this first. In case I draw Harbinger, I will probably go after the mountain. Okay, that makes this a little bit better. I would like to pay 3 life, please. Yeah. And I think that I'm best just tapping this down and hoping that... Well, no, we know they have the Pyretic Ritual, so they can definitely go off here. I don't know, I guess maybe I'm supposed to just deny them as much mana as possible. I'm not sure attacking for 1 is really where we want to be right now. Whereas next turn, I can just Tideshaper them again, and hopefully that's enough. So, yeah, I don't think 1 damage is worth that much here. I think that just keeping them off of mana as much as possible is the best strategy for the moment. Sure. Do what you can, opponent. Okay. They'll probably get another basic mountain. Yeah. So our best draw here would probably be the... Yeah, we need to draw Harbinger. If we draw Harbinger, they actually can't cast any spells, so that would be the tits. That's not bad, but it means I can't play this Tideshaper. Unfortunately, I probably do need to play this, so I guess I'm attacking with Mutavault, and I'm gonna have a bunch of mana, so I don't know, what am I doing here? They tap 2 for Ral, so with the and I mean, if I tap this in the upkeep, then that means I can go for like a ritual and I can force the ritual, and hopefully that just keeps them off of it for this turn. So that seems like the right way to go here. Oops, no, 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 undo. All right. I guess they have the wooded foothills, so I don't know. It's gonna matter here what the I don't know what the rest of their hand looks like, so Yeah, okay, they have 5 cards, so this could be really bad here. So I'm assuming this is going to be like a ritual. Alright. Uh, so draws them a card and adds 2. I might be supposed to save the force for the Past in Flames. If they have another ritual and I counter this, then I'm just like dead. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Sure. Hopefully that stops them here. What can they? Yeah, they have 3 mana still. All right. Wish. All right. What are they gonna wish for? I guess they could wish and then just kill off my like Tide Shaper and this strike it rich. Okay. So does this mean they're? What do we have? What's our last card, opponent? Or were they just hoping that they were gonna draw stuff? Okay. They do have Grape Shot. Okay. All right. It's not the end of the world. Like this could have been worse. They're gonna they're gonna deal us some damage and kill off our creatures. No. Okay, so let's see. Attack them, they go to 8. I mean, I guess we just have to hope that their last card's not very good. This is gonna ping us. Three turns versus 2 turns. Do what we gotta do, I guess. I guess we're just attacking them. I'm sorry, no, they need 4 turns to kill us with this. We need 3 turns to kill them with this. Yeah. Hopefully their last card was not good. If they have like another wish or something, we might just be screwed. Hopefully they just have nothing. Okay. Really? They just flashed that back twice. Okay, just for the lands, I guess. So they have 1 card left still. It's always so boring to watch when Storm's doing their thing. Yeah, no, I get that. All right. I think that I'm supposed to just attack with the Mutavaults again and then just try to kill them next turn. Put them in a position where this is just enough. I don't think playing the Tide Shaper really helps us. Just hope that their last cards are just like lands. They need to play like a creature. Okay, we win. We got there. We survived the onslaught in game 1. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Okay. Whew. All right. I think that Tidebinder is supposed to come in, and Svyelun is probably supposed to come out. I think this one I know Nikachu does have notes for. Yeah, Tidebinder in. Actually, I think Trickster in here too, right? Yeah. He also brings in Dismember. And takes out Svyelun. That makes sense. Takes out a Harbinger of the Seas, and he also takes out the Force of Negations. So he doesn't think Force of Negation is actually that good, where, I don't know, I kind of feel like Force of Negation is probably a little bit better than he gives it credit for. Because I do feel like countering the Past in Flames with Force is probably very strong. I agree, I don't think Harbinger is that good, so I am willing to take that out. I don't really believe in Trickster as much, though. I guess Trickster on the like to hit the Ral probably makes a little bit more sense. I don't really care for Harbinger of the Seas that much, to be honest. Like, I don't think this card is that good. Tidebinder does stop. Yeah, I like the Tidebinder. That makes sense. Um, they do have Ruby Medallion, though. I know Nikachu has said he doesn't think the Medallion is actually that important to counter. And I am sort of inclined to agree with that. I feel like the important thing to counter is like the Past in Flames. And the Force is very good at that. I don't know that Harbinger of the Seas is going to do a whole lot. The Trickster is probably fine. I don't know. Yeah, because they play a lot of basic mountains. Yeah, I think that this is probably as good as it's going to get. But yeah, the thing is, we should be pretty good against this deck. Oh my god, this is so tempting. The thing is, if we draw a single like island, we probably win this game on the spot. But if we don't draw an island, then we're probably just losing this game. We're on the draw here, so we have 2 turns to do it. But their opponent is mulligan to 6. I think we're supposed to mulligan and just do better because yeah, like if we don't draw a land, then this hand does like very little to nothing. It seems a little bit too dangerous. All right, that we can actually keep this one. We have Sink into Stupor here, so this matters a lot. I think we're just gonna put Master of the Pearl Trident in the bottom. Now we're gonna keep this, and we put a Master in the bottom. We actually have the mana to cast our spells now. We still have our Force if we need it. Like, the Lords are not actually all that important in this match. Okay, so I guess if I draw Aether Vial, I would play that. That's fine. That's another card we can pitch to Force, but we are going to play... I want to put Tideshaper out because, one, it's going to get buffed by the Lords really quickly, but also, if we're going to play Hexcatcher, I want to have as many things into play as possible to make Hexcatcher stronger. So, this is definitely one of the matches where you want to run out Tideshaper just as a 1-drop. I think in general you want to do this. Like, if you don't have anything to play in turn 1, then you're probably like in a bad spot. So playing anything in turn 1 is better than playing nothing, because playing a creature in turn 1 means you have Lord that can pump it up in turn 2. It also means you're representing Flare of Denial, and it also helps your Hexcatcher counter spells in the future. So even as a 1/1, this being in play is very good. I think that's fine. Not that concerned about those cards. Alright. Okay, Sink into Stupor here. We're definitely going to play this and take 3. So I can play this Tideshaper and then attack for 2 with that way, or I can play the Hexcatcher and then... I think that I'm supposed to play the Tideshaper first. So slow them down a little bit, but also then next turn when I play a Lord, then it adds 2 damage to the board, so it'll be fine. We still have Force, like we might use it depending on what they do here. Sure. They have a third land, that's fine. Like, if they just play like Ral and then try to play a ritual, I'm actually okay with that. Okay. I don't know what they're planning to do here with this. Like, I guess they have 3 cards left. What are the last 3 cards you have? I feel like I'm supposed to force this right now. They could have Grape Shot and just like kill off my creatures. That doesn't matter. Yeah, I think I'm gonna force this. This feels like it's worth countering. It's like they don't have a lot that's good to follow that up. Yeah, all right, there we go. See, they burned 2 rituals for fucking nothing. That is what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen. Fishes of all ages. Beautiful. They go to 10. And we have them dead next turn if they don't do anything. I think that this is about as good as we could do here, so. They find a way to win the next turn, they find a way to win. So be it. But I think this is about as much as we could reasonably hope for. I think I like Force of Negation for this, but like in his notes, yeah, I think. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Did I? Okay, never mind. Like I think I was looking at the wrong. Oh no, okay, never mind. No, he didn't take out Force. Okay, that would be yeah, stupid. No. All right, no, don't worry about it. He did take out Harbinger of the Seas. I just read the it was split across the page, so like that's why. No, we're fine, we're fine. Yeah, no, he took out Harbinger and Svyelun. He did exactly what we did, so perfect. That's fine. Yeah. My bad. I don't mean to make him look like he doesn't know what he's doing. He obviously does. It's fine. I mean, he won a 10K. I'm pretty sure he knows the plan, and yeah, Force is obviously what we want. Because yeah, Past in Flames is just like hugely important. So like, it's just weird because it's like a Google document and like, what is it? Like the way that it's formatted is like Ruby Storm doesn't have a huge section, but there's a note under it for like the next deck, and then right under it is more sideboarding stuff. So that's I just was looking at it incorrectly. Yeah. All right, no, I'm sorry, but that's fine. We got it. Figured it out. So they draw a card with Manamorphose. What does it mean they're going to do with it? They have 3 red mana here. The problem is, even if they play Ral on a ritual, it doesn't actually do anything. So they go to 4 with this? Okay, I mean, I don't... There's no point in countering that. That's not the important card right now. Reckless Impulse? Sure. Wish and Ren's Resolve. I don't think either of those actually help you right now. No, they don't. You're going to cast Ren's Resolve. Sure, go for it. It doesn't help. I think they were just casting it hoping that we would just throw away Hexcatcher so that way we wouldn't kill them this turn, but we're definitely going to kill them right now. Alright, we win. Okay, yeah, no, it was fine. So, yeah, no, it's 3-0 so far. See, look, Merfolk is on fire. We're having another great league. Yeah. No, his plan involves taking out Svyelun and Harbinger of the Seas, which, yeah, that I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense because yeah, they have a lot of basic mountains, so like Harbinger is not going to mana screw them, but we definitely want is all the counter magic we can possibly get our hands on because like, yeah, this deck is very reliant on casting. Their win conditions are like sorcery speed things, so Force will counter like the important spells, which is like Past in Flames or maybe like Wish. All right, we're on the play again. Is that like 4 times in a row? That's great. And this hand also seems fine, right? We'll play Vial. We might do Tide Shaper in turn 2. We may pitch the Sink into Stupor to Force. Yeah, this seems okay. They could have been looking for Grape Shot. That's true. Yeah. I mean, if they find Grape Shot, they find Grape Shot, but that means they still don't really have a clock. Like, or they burned like all their resources just to not die, and that's usually the scenario we want to be in. So I'm generally okay with it if they just Grape Shot and don't actually like win the game. It's much better for us to just let them try, and then if they miss, then they just lose on the spot. Versus the game just it'll favor us a little bit more because we're going to find pressure faster than I think they're going to refill their hand with the rituals because they burned a ton of rituals there, and so they don't have a lot left to draw into. Yeah, so depending on what our opponent does this turn, I'll probably will just kick this Tide Shaper off of Mutavault. I mean, yeah, and we have the Sink into Stupor. If we draw another island, that's great. Okay, so they're not going to do anything here. That's good. That means I don't know that I'm going to play Tide Shaper right now. That's actually fine. I guess I could play the Mutavault here, right? Actually, okay, let me think about this. I probably... there's almost no chance that I'm attacking with this thing next turn. So which of these do I play here? I guess I could play the Cavern of Souls, just in case I draw another Cavern of Souls, then I want to be able to name both of them before Harbinger of the Seas goes into play. But I don't think I want to play the Tide Shaper yet. There's not really a good reason to. I can always vial it in if I care that much, but right now I don't feel like it's that valuable to me, so I don't have a good reason to put it into play as a 1/1. Yeah. So like I can play Harbinger of the Seas, hopefully protect it with Force. Maybe even pitch the Tide Shaper to Force and then like have Sink into Stupor. Okay. Underground Mortuary. One card on top. Alright, deal. Okay, so what are we up against here? Dothy Voidwalker? Sure. Alright, my turn. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the Tide Shaper in hand right now. That's very good. Alright. So here, I think I play Harbinger of the Seas, put the Hexcatcher in play, and then I will use Force, probably pitch Sink into Stupor to protect the Harbinger, and then Tide Shaper the Swamp next turn. Alright. Hopefully, because if they're relying on just like one basic and then maybe like another fetch land, they can probably only cast one spell, and then we'll be able to keep them from casting it. Yeah, we just force it and then Tide Shaper. Yeah, see, like, if they have, like, a Fatal Push or something, it's not actually going to help them, so... I feel like this is a very winning position for us. Yeah, Shadow is not going to block anything. I guess if they grief me, like, that could be bad. Oh, they're... Soul Spike? Okay, what are we doing with this? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Um... We are not going to be doing that, though. So let me think about this. Okay. What do I want to pitch? There is definitely, like, there's an argument either way for this, because they do have more free spells. So they exiled Soul Spike. So they have more... Actually, I could just use the Hexcatcher to counter this, actually. That might make more sense right now. It's so close. The only thing I'm worried about is if they have another free spell, then I want to have the Force up. I think that I'm supposed to use the Hexcatcher to counter this. I don't know. This it's because if I play the Tide Shaper in this next turn, then I can still use the Force to protect it, and then that feels like that's still winning. They don't have any mana floating, so you may as well attack. Yeah, that's fine. So this looks like maybe this is the was this the Black Burn deck? I don't know why they played into Hexcatcher. That seems like really interesting to me too. I'm gonna keep this in 2 because I think we have the most 2 drops here we can play. Flare of Denial is pretty good here too. All right, so we're just gonna hit the swamp so they can hopefully not cast any more spells at all. And we do have protection now, so we can just force whatever they play and then untap and then just cast Flare. So like we're winning this game easily. Like they're attacking for 3, we're attacking for 4. And the long like we have interaction for days now, so they might not have had another option. Like it's possible maybe they were supposed to like keep the Soul Spike to try to go after it like that. If we find a Lord, like it just ends like almost on the spot too. Oh, yeah, easily. Okay. Now we're attacking for 6. Like, what are you going to do here, opponent? You're not going to do anything. It could be that they also do have another one of these Soul Spikes in their hand, and they're just thinking about using it. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're just crushing them. Yep. Okay. Sure. So Lord wins? Yeah, okay, that wins. Yeah, okay, it's fine. They just conceded. All right, good. So I think that this is like the Black Burn deck, maybe. I don't think that there's anything playing. I guess it could be, yeah, it could be like a mono black control deck. But usually they don't play like a lot of fetches, I don't think, right? So it's unclear. The this is Malakar Rebirth, so they probably have Grief, I'm guessing. Probably Orcish Bowmasters, probably the One Ring and Necrodominance. Looks like yeah. So I'm guessing Mono Black Scam is it. That's I think that's what we're seeing here. Our opponent just sent us a message that says the memes, lol. Yeah, all right. So what does our guide say here? So this looks to be Mono Black Scam. Yeah, and they do have that Necro Dominance in it for sure. So, all right. Notes. We do have notes for this matchup somewhere here. All right. So yeah, spreading seas is important. The only 3 non-basics in the deck. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Opponent just like did not find any. So they probably do have a ton of basic swamps, but they just had a bunch of like fetches and non-basics. So all right. Yeah. What do we not want here? So yeah, Vial is probably not good because this is one of those matches where there's like a lot of like discard spells. So Vodalian Hexcatcher is also very vulnerable to Bowmaster, so we take this out. And Tide Shaper is also very vulnerable because of Orcish Bowmasters. It's fine versus... Yeah, opponent is like, it's not in a... Fish is in a good spot. It's fine versus Rubian. Yeah, so... I feel like maybe they're just like a little upset by what just happened, and I mean, that's fair. So we want that. I think we want Trickster. And Subtlety. That's how we drew this up. Right? This seems to be correct. He doesn't take out any of the counter spells, so like, yeah, because they do have like One Ring and Flare. Yeah, but he's like really even versus Storm. Yeah, this hand seems fine. We have a bunch of threats and some land, so here. Where is my window here? I'll show you what the chat looks like. Yeah. All right. So yeah, like this is exactly the kind of hand we want. Where even if they grief us, like it's not the end of the world, because we can just like put it back together. So yeah. All right, that's fine. I guess it's okay. Play Dockhand. Probably just want to draw some more lands to like curve up here, but I mean this is okay. We're playing spells every turn, so maybe like a force or something might be all right. If they play Necro Dominance, things are gonna get a little bit hairy. Okay. I don't have a choice. I just have to run out of Lord of Atlantis right now. And then maybe Harbinger of the Seas will be good to us next turn. Just need them not to play like Necro Dominance. If they do that, we're in a lot of trouble, I think. I mean, they might have like Fatal Push, or they're just thinking about using here. It's probably fine. Orcish Bowmasters, they're exiling it to march this. Alright, that's fine. This definitely screams Necro Dominance to me, though. If they're like emptying their hand this fast. Yeah. I don't have a force. Yep. Okay. Sure. I'm assuming they're going to draw like 3 cards. Oh no, they're going to draw like 7 cards here. Yikes. Hmm. I mean, yeah, if we had like a force for this thing, we probably would have just won the game on the spot. Because I don't think they would have reasonably beat us with like 2 cards in hand at that point. This is going to make it a little bit harder, though. Yeah, they get a little bit of the combo element here with the Soul Spike. Because they get to gain a bunch of the life back and hurt us. Oboro. I mean, I guess if we play Mutavault Harbinger, we can play 2 creatures next turn, and I think that's just what we have to do. Right. I mean, yeah, they can always like just they have marches and they can always like try to find another soul spike to kill this thing. So they definitely have ways of dealing with this. They also have the option of just playing like Shieldred, and then we could be in some real trouble. Necrodominance and Shieldred is very, very dangerous. We need them not to find that. Alright, what do we got? Sure. Let me march this thing. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to like get through this now that Dominus is on the board. So, all right. I don't think the Spreading Seas is very valuable to us at the moment. They have a fetch land. They're representing a fetch land or a fatal push right now. Yeah, this is not great. I guess I could just play Spreading Seas and then a Lord. I don't want to expose the Mutavault. Let's just hit one of these things. Guess that's fine. Play a Lord, I guess. We're doing our best. Like, it is very unlikely we're gonna we're not gonna get through this onslaught for sure. They're just gonna keep drawing removal spells with Necro Dominance. They'd need to hit a really bad string of cards here. All right, I think that'll do it. They're gonna draw a bajillion cards and gain a bajillion life. I can't get through that. Okay. Anything else we do here? Not really. Kind of just need that not to happen. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'll play here. This is a very bad hand. It's like we have 4 lands and like pitch spells. That's not good. I guess this is fine. I think we're just getting rid of Sink into Stupor here. Yeah, and if they grief scam us, then things are gonna get shitty. But you know, they've mulliganed to 6. We're gonna keep this. Get rid of Sink. So if they grief scam us, I do not want them taking our second land. So I need him to mulligan and just not have like everything. So yeah. Yeah, yeah. Apparently, it does not look like the mulligans are going well for him. Yeah, as I said, like his good hands are probably unbeatable, and we need to draw like if we want to beat their average hand, we have to have like a pretty good hand. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. He's like mull to 5 is good games, hard to come back. Haven't had it happen yet, and I'm just like, yeah, it be like that sometimes. So, but he's like, yeah, I guess he said it hasn't happened. Yeah, it's hasn't happened to him yet. But you know what? Everybody mulls to 5 sometimes. That's how Magic works. So, bought all the new Merfolk cards for MTG. Nikachu's current list is in fact still like it. I think that's probably the best one to start with. Yeah, we're playing very similar to what he's running right now. So I think I don't know. Let's. I think we're just supposed to play Master here and attack. If they don't do anything next turn, then maybe we hold these things up. We're just hoping he plays like Voidwalker or maybe even Orcish Bowmasters, because then we can beat those pretty easily here. Alright, well this looks like Orcish Bowmasters to me. This is good. Alright. So I think we can attack here. If they play Orcish Bowmasters, they'll probably ping Master the Pearl Trident and then try to block it. We can dismember the token. And then we have Trickster up. So that seems fine. On the other hand, we might want to Dockhand them just in case they have Necropotence. Or I'm sorry, Necrodominance for next turn. So yeah, if we do that, then we can attack with Master. I guess. Yeah, they'll pick, like, we could Trickster plus Dismember. If we have to do both of those things, it's going to be hard. Svyelun is pretty good, I think. It's going to depend if he has, like, land plus, like, Necrodominance. I could, like I said, I could Dockhand him so he can't do both of those things. I could just not attack this turn. Then next turn flash in Trickster, and then because if he has Bowmasters, he kind of has to play it right now, right? So I could just pass here, and then with the plan of just Dockhand, and then do one of these things, so that way he cannot Necropotence me this turn. Because the thing is, if it lands, then I'm probably in deep shit, and I really do need to kind of kill the Bowmasters if that happens. Otherwise, like, yeah, it's probably okay. Playing Svyelun is fine, but it's not perfect. If I play Svyelun right now, he could like Fatal Push one of my creatures. I don't know, there's a lot of ways this could go bad. I feel like the safe thing to do is probably yeah, because if he plays Bowmasters, then he'll ping this and then just he could double block it actually, and that would not be good either. Because I don't want to have I want to be able to like have this up for next turn too. So I think I'm just gonna pass this turn. Force him to take the initiative here to do something. Because if he plays Bowmasters, I'll just dismember it then. Or even just like Trickster it at the end of turn. That seems fine too. Because then maybe I can draw a land and then just play Svyelun and like, yeah, it might still be okay here. I don't know. There's a lot of ways this can go. I just need to be careful because, like I said, drawing like a Force or something next turn could just be game winning, but or just like even a Spreading Seas. But I really cannot afford to like have him Necrodominance right now. So we'll see. This way, I'm ensuring that he's not going to be able to do that. If he has Bowmasters, I'm kind of forcing him to just play it. Yeah, see, we knew he had Bowmasters the whole time. He'll probably just ping me here. Yep, that's fine. And I think that I will probably just dismember this thing. Actually, this is going to be tricky here. If I play the Trickster, I can attack with everything pretty safely. I think that's a better plan. I don't really need to worry about this just yet. Drawing a land here would be pretty huge. That's actually a lot better. Okay. Because now if he has Necrodominus, I'm set. Okay, I think I just attack here with everything. He might have Fatal Push, sure, that's fine. But, like, Fatal Push is not a 2-for-1 right now, so I'm not that concerned by it. Like, the Orc token is not going to do anything on its own. Yeah, okay. So whatever he's going to... Yeah, like, whatever he casts right now, I can deal with it. That's the important thing. Grief? Ooh, okay. Well, I can't deal with that. Actually, here, I think I just dismember the Grief. And just continue attacking him. He can take Svyelun. I guess that's fine. Like, it doesn't really matter which one he takes at this point. He took Svyelun. Okay, that's fine. Because he's tapped out, like, so this is okay. Sure. He's going to save himself some life. Goes to 9, and we have lethal, right? Yeah, so we have lethal protected by force, so, like, I think we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, yeah, Shieldred, whatever, that's fine. It's not gonna do that much. Like, we still have draws that win here. I mean, sure, that's okay. Probably just flashing that in. We're in a position where we can kill him very easily at any given point. So these 3 cards, like, they're probably not very good. Yeah. Just get rid of that. Okay, sure. You have Bowmasters, but it only does 1 damage here. It doesn't really matter. We're still very, like, yeah, we're still in very good shape here. Okay, so what happens here? If I play Lord of Atlantis and just attack with everything, like, that's very close to killing him. Because I can force him to start blocking with stuff. I could also just hardcast the Subtlety. I really want to get to a turn where I can just flash this in and be very strong. I think I want to wait in the Lord, right? Because that's okay. I'm not in any huge rush. The only thing that we're, like, let's see. Yeah, let's see. If I attack, like, the biggest thing is 4, right? So this will be, like, 4, 3, and 3. He's not actually dead. He doesn't technically have to block the rest of these. He could just eat, like, the Lord here and block with a token. I think that we wait. Yeah, we're gonna try to cast Subtlety in the end of his turn. See if he can cast, like, a Dothy Voidwalker or something. Otherwise, Subtlety can just start attacking in the air, and it'll help our clock a lot. That's not great. Okay. Alright, well, how much life do you want to gamble right now with, You have, like, Soul Spike. That's exactly it. You don't really have a lot of life to be fucking around with. Oh, no, he has Shieldred. Never mind. He can draw, like, as many cards as he wants. He's going to gain a bajillion life, right? So however much he pays, he's going to gain it twice back. So I guess what? He just gains, like, 10. Yeah, okay, never mind. Forgot. This works. Alright, so what do we need here? So he's at 23. We can't quite, we can't deal with that. Yeah, he's got Soul Spike, too. Never mind. Like, I forgot that, he's going to gain the life back. So, alright. Well, I mean, we didn't really have a good answer to him having another one of these things. Sure. We're at 8. He's currently attacking me for 6. Well, I have to play the Lord here, right? He is going to draw, like, a bajillion more cards. I don't actually have an answer to this. You know what? Yeah, that was kind of bad. Like, him having exactly, like, Necrodominus there was, like... That was, like, I think the one card we couldn't really defeat. Yeah, an attack doesn't do anything here. We don't have Island Walk, so... I'm just gonna... Yeah, this is terrible. We are in a lot of trouble right now. I guess I could have attacked with the subtlety, but it doesn't really help me at all. Now I can just draw like 20 cards. Yeah, okay, you got it. I can't, I'm not going to be able to defeat this. Alright, good games. He was thinking it's like, it's not possible to come back from this, but no, it is if you have like, if you have Necrodon. Yeah, there's Toxic Deluge. Like, I guess we could force that, but he just draws a bajillion cards at the end of turn and gains a bajillion life, so. Scam is hard, alright? Like, we could probably deal with either Sheoldred or Necrodominus, but not both at the same time, and definitely not like a second Necro. Yeah, no, that was rough. We were like very close, like just needing like a spreading seas, and we could basically murder him. But that was, yeah. What are you gonna do? Oh well. I don't. Yeah, like I said, it's scam. Supposedly, I'm told that scam is not terribly great versus Storm and Nadu. So if that's the case, and those two decks are the most popular ones, then maybe we don't have to see a whole lot of it. But yeah, if we see it, like, Necro Dominance is not a reasonable Magic card in any capacity. It's like, you cannot fucking fix Necropotent. Oh my god. Alright, we're on the draw, I think, for the first time this league, so let's see if we can finish it strong. That is not going to help us finish this strong at all. No, not like this. Fuck. Alright, opponents kept keeping 7. We're on a mulligan here. We have to keep this and get rid of a Mutavault and pray. It's not a very good hand, but it's going to have to be passable. Temple Garden. Oh, fuck. What does this mean? Is this Nadu? Might be. Yeah, that looks like Nadu to me. Alright. Yeah, we're probably in some trouble here in the draw. I'm not likely casting this anytime soon. Let me think about this. I think we're just playing Oboro pass. Probably Cavern next turn. I don't really want to play this Sink into Stupor if I don't have to. They're probably just going to jam like Nadu here. That'd be my guess. Nope. Oh, Springheart? Okay, yeah, that thing. Yeah, that's the combo piece that goes with it. And it has landfall, then yeah, it does a thing. Oh yeah, there's landfall and they have a fetch land for this, so. And they just get insect tokens forever with this. Yeah, we're in trouble here. So this is the thing. This is supposed to be like a good matchup, but we have a really shitty hand here. I don't think we're actually beating them. I'm pretty sure we're gonna die, and I don't really want to show them my hand. We are in like a lot of trouble, so yeah, fuck that. We're not doing that. Okay. There is basically no chance in there. All right. So what do we do here with this? Hmm. Yeah, all right. Where is it? So I don't have a lot of experience playing against Nadu, but yeah, we want subtlety, I think. Yeah, it looks like that. Tidebinder, because it also interacts with it. If we had the 4th Dismember, this is where we would bring it in. Svyelun is very slow here, and Force of Negation doesn't really do anything, so yeah, that comes out too. And that's pretty much it, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's go. This is not a lot better, but I guess we got to keep it. We still don't have anything to do on turn 1, but We have creatures and spells that we can play. They've mulliganed to 6, so hopefully that they don't start with Delighted Halfling, otherwise we're going to be in a world of shit. They've mulliganed to 5. Okay, so if they don't have the Halfling and they just try to naturally play Nadu, we might be okay. Ideally, we can just play like, 2-drop, 3-drop, win the game that way. Actually, yeah, and then maybe turn 4 if we have in the land, we can play like animate Mutavault and attack. That's a good way to do this. So they have what? Chord of Calling and Summoner's packs that we should be aware of, but Force is going to have trouble countering those. Alright, well they're debating on 5 cards right now, so. Okay. I guess if they're splashing black for Thoughtseize, then there's a very good chance they have Orcish Bowmasters to be aware of, so. So that is a very good reason to not play the Hexcatcher right now, and instead play the Master of the Pearl Trident. And then next turn, if we want, we can play Hexcatcher and then have Dismember up with it, just in case. Or we could just hold up Flare of Denial, and then if they don't do anything, flash in Tidebinder. Yeah, or we could just flash this in at the end of their turn, just in case we want to hard cast a Flare. It's very reasonable. Yeah, sure. Thoughtseize me. I can't afford to like counter this. You can take whatever you want. It doesn't really matter that much. We're still gonna have something to do next turn. It's just a matter of like whether you play Nadu and we Tidebinder it, or whether you play it and we like flare it, or just dismember it. Like ideally we don't want to dismember it because then they still get the trigger off of it. Whereas Tidebinder, oh, no, I guess the thing is we can't Tidebinder it right away unless they like target it with something. So we might have to dismember it. So yeah, we either are probably doing Hexcatcher plus Dismember or Flare. Yeah, it depends what they do. So they take the Dismember. Okay, so looks like they're going to try to play around the counter magic for this. Alright. So I think we just play the Mutavault right now, and our plan is just flash in Tidebinder. And if they yeah, so we'll attack here. They play it and we'll flare it. If not, we'll just flash in Tidebinder, and then next turn we can play Hexcatcher, attack with Mutavault and Tidebinder, and Master, and then still have Flare Up. Seems like a reasonable line. Unless they don't have another land, that's possible. Shuko. Okay. Oh, they don't want to crack this Misty because they know we have the Tidebinder. Yeah, that's... Okay, so this is actually a good reason not to do this. They don't have another land, and they can't crack this Misty, so... That's great. Okay. Alright, we'll wait at least one more turn here. It's got to be scary, right? Because they know they can't actually play it at the moment. I think that I can let them fetch here because I'll still have enough stuff, like, even when they have 2 mana. No, actually, because they should still have Bowmasters, right? So I'm just not giving them the opportunity to play anything right now. So yeah, if I draw a land, that's better. That's great. Okay. Okay. Sure. We'll tap the Oboro. Get in for 3 now. Again, they can't crack Misty. Yeah. Tidebinder is doing the Lord's work right now. No pun intended. Yeah, this is such a bad spot. They don't have a 3rd land and they can't crack their fetch. So they're effectively on 1 land here. And they have no choice but to just play into this now. And they don't know we have another one, so that's also really rough. Yeah, you may as well do it now, but I mean, we can just flare it, so that's always a thing. If whatever the creature, or whatever card they play, we can just flare it here, and then hold up Tidebinder again next turn, and then they have no idea, so... Yeah, we win. Okay. Alright, cool. That's all it took for that, so... Neat. Alright, the mana denial plan was actually very strong here. Alright, I think, yeah, we just need to do that again. That's it. We have a good chance for a 4-1 again, so let's go. Let's get it, chat. Are you excited? Who in chat's excited? Are we gonna like 4-1 this? Or how? What do you think? What are your betting odds and how this game's gonna turn out? All right. Okay. Now that you've seen this hand, does your opinion change? I feel like this is still pretty good. We do have, we're gonna probably keep them off of everything until we get Harbinger out. Make it difficult. This is actually almost a hand where I probably want to play Dockhand first. Because I can Dockhand and then play Vial in turn 2. They look land, we play this, they play second land, we can, keep them from getting to 3 mana. So yeah, I think we're playing Dockhand in turn 1 with this, actually. Shuko, alright, yeah, sure. I mean, it's not great, but, we do what we gotta do. And then hopefully Harbinger of the Seas will just be enough to, I don't know. Probably not because they have the basic forest, but we'll see. Maybe if we can like draw a blue card and subtlety them, that will help. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. Oh, that's good. Alright, so we have something to pitch to subtlety here. And then we can just tap the forest in their upkeep. Mana denial plan online, hopefully. I guess we just tap the breeding pool, right? That seems like the best thing to do here. If they play Nadu, I definitely have to subtlety it and then just hope that Harbinger keeps them from casting it again. What are you debating here? You're not going to, like, Force of Negation this. There's no fucking way. No, not even a chance. Don't even... You are out of your mind if you think that you're, like, countering this thing. He'd be the worst Force of Negation of all time. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, upkeep, we just hit the land. So yeah, we don't want them finding a way to like cast this thing, so. Alright, they have another Shuko. Our plan is to slam Harbinger and hope that... Yeah, hope that Subtlety is enough for a turn here. Alright, what are you doing with this one? Better get another forest, boy. You better know. No, that was not the correct one, opponent. I'm sorry. Swing and a miss. You needed that forest a lot more than you thought. Alright, we just have to live long enough here. That's fine. That's actually... That's okay. So right now... I think I keep the Dockhand back to so that they can only attack with probably like one... how do we do this? I can't afford to block with either of these things at the moment. So if I attack here, they can hit me for 4 damage. But that's going to happen either way. So I may as well attack them. I have Island Walk. I can put them to 16 because this is not going to be blocking, and neither is this. Then next turn I can Violin the Lord, and then the Harbinger becomes a good blocker. They can only attack with one of these things. And yeah, that's assuming they play NATO, and I can just like Subtlety it. So because I'm going to need the Dockhand to tap this thing every turn. Alright. And we're probably going to need to draw at least like one more creature to have a good shot at this. But if we can draw like another Lord, we're in very good shape. Because then we'll have a 4/4 blocker, and then we can actually like reasonably fight this. So this is their one chance to play the NATO, and I'm going to have to Subtlety it, right? No, they have another forest. Oh fuck, and we're in trouble now. I can't defeat both of those. Okay. All right, so they're all right. We're actually in a lot of shit right now. Okay, I have to take this. I can't afford to throw away my Harbinger at the moment. So what? I have to like Subtlety this thing and draw like a Tide Shaper, I guess. Ooh, that's gonna be rough. So they have to pay for that, right? They can't actually cast anything next turn. And I guess if I draw a Tide Shaper, I just win the game. Literally, like, Tide Shaper off the top just wins the fucking game right now because they won't be able to pay for the Summoner's Pact. Holy fuck. Alright, come on. One time. One time! They can't cast this next turn because they have to spend all 4 mana. No, it is not. Opponent said, like, excuse me, that is not a Merfolk. And I'm just like, yeah, no, it is not. Alright. Tide Shaper, come on. This is your chance to shine. You win the game. He's calling the Merfolk cops on us. Oh, no! Oh. Alright, alright, what do we do here? Oh, no. Okay. Play the Minamo, I guess. I mean, we're probably not blocking any of this stuff, so what do we do? We're racing, I guess. They can attack for 4, and we're attacking for 5? Puts them at 11. Yeah, that's pretty much what we got, and then I guess we just have to hope we draw something. They put the Nadu on top of their library, so yeah, they are not doing anything. So we are just in a straight up drag race right now. So they go to 11 here. So if I draw a Lord, that's going to be 3, 3, and 4. So that's only 10. The Lord doesn't actually win the game for us. So so what do we need? We need to draw Subtlety. Yeah, Subtlety, Tide Shaper, Flare of Denial. Those are all winning cards at the moment. Or I guess Tishana's Tidebinder could also do it. Sure, that makes sense. Yep. Dismember probably is good enough. Alright, if we draw a 2-drop, we can just cast it anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. We draw a 3. No, I don't think it makes it a huge difference either way. Yeah, Lord, unfortunately, it doesn't quite do it. It only puts them at 1. See what we gotta do, I guess. So they're gonna get a bajillion triggers here, right? So it does turn off fetch lands, I guess. So, well, I guess no, fetches are already turned off, so I guess we'll see. All right, good luck, opponent. All right. It's possible they could fizzle here, so we'll see. It's not likely, but it is possible. Let's see what they got. All right, Wall of Roots, that's fine. Makes sense. They have another creature to play. Yep. All right, see what you got, opponent. Urza Saga dies immediately. All right, that was a good one. The problem is that they got an insect token, so they basically need to, like, not hit a bunch of lands. It depends, yeah, I guess how many non-land cards are they going to hit, so... They probably can't cast a lot of stuff here with just blue mana, so... They found Court of Calling, so that's not good. That means they can get another Nadu. They probably have it from this point, unfortunately, because the Court of Calling should be enough. We did our best with this, alright? We tried. We had several turns in which, like, we could have just, like, straight up won here, but unfortunately, that's not going to do it. He should be able to churn through his deck enough here. Because once he's exhausted Nadu triggers, he'll just cord through his deck for another Nadu and then just, like, get a bajillion more. So Thassa's Oracle should be enough to win. Alright, we tried. That was really, really close. Like, damn. Where was Tide Shaper when we needed it? Tide Shaper could have just, like, won us the game on the spot. He had to fucking have that second basic for us. That was so unlucky. Yeah, unfortunately, he could have just floated the green in response to Tideshaper tapping it down, so that wouldn't have... Yeah, that didn't really help us here. Alright. X equals 2. What does this mean? Oh, is he just... Okay, I guess... How... What? That can't be right, right? Isn't it... Shouldn't... Aren't you supposed to get, like, another Nadu? Unless you have another chord in hand, anyway. I mean, it feels like it should be like this is probably also fine because he gets like double triggers off of these things, so it should be impossible. I think either way, it's probably impossible to fail from this point. So, like, basically all the lands would have to be stacked on like the bottom of the deck, and just yeah, as long as he hits like any non-creature spell, he's fine. But if so, I guess this is the first time we're showing off this combo in the channel. So the opponent, and yeah, the opponent actually has to go through it because if they pass, then we win. So yeah, this is for all the marbles, as it were. It feels like this matchup. Yeah, I agree with Nikachu's assessment. It probably should be in our favor. I mean, it didn't work out this game or this round, but like, it definitely feels like this should be very winnable. We just didn't quite have it come together for us. That's all. That's fine. Like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we're okay. So now do we like chord to get another Nadu here? I think we have exhausted the targets. No, another X equals 2. Oh my god. Uh huh. I'm okay. Sure. So now he gets 3 things with this. I mean, it is a little bit annoying to sit through, but like it. And the thing is, you can't shortcut this because it can actually fizzle. Like this is it's a long combo. It's not quite as long as something like Second Sunrise, but like it's definitely a long one. So and you absolutely cannot shortcut it's very much like Storm in that regard. So like where it is possible that like they could fizzle out, but so you have to go through every step. Yeah, kind of like the Ironwork. It's definitely the rules are less confusing than Ironworks, and like the loops are a lot easier to understand, I think. But so I don't know. We'll see. Like, yeah, it feels like he should have it from here. Well, yeah. Well, see, the other thing about Ironworks is if you don't know the loops very well, you will act. Yeah, timing out is a very realistic possibility. Like, so that deck, very much like Second Sunrise, Ironworks was a deck like if an inexperienced player is playing it, then they can easily go like 10 minutes past the end of the round just in like a combo turn. So it's very annoying, and there's a very good reason that deck is banned. Tournament logistics. I mean, weird rules interactions too, but like it also it's really fucking terrible when, the bad players are playing it and just like dirtling around for like 10 minutes in the last turn. So, yeah, I don't know. That's just how it is sometimes. All right, we're just waiting for Oracle to show up here now. It's got 10 cards left, so we're definitely getting there. I mean, he spent like a good like 2 to 3 minutes on just this one turn. I feel like if we didn't have such a shitty hand in game one, like, yeah, we had a much better chance of this match, but, like, yeah, it was just really hard. You can't possibly be out of things to do right now. Sylvan Safekeeper, okay. Where did you get the black mana for this? I'm just curious. I didn't. Oh, he has one basic swamp here. Okay. Okay. Sure. Or yeah, you can just cast Oracle at this point. Yeah, if he casts Oracle right now, he just wins, right? Because he only has like 3 cards left. He'll have enough devotion. Like I have no cards in hand. He knows what the deal is. All right. I guess he's just trying to empty the deck first. So it's more stylish to do it on 0 cards. We've come this far. We may as well get the last one. Endurance. Okay. There's the Thassa's Oracle. All right. Good games. He also has a Merfolk. Yeah, he does. Okay. I don't know. I think this deck looked like it was pretty strong. All right. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, this looks pretty good. Like it has all the tools that it needs to fight. I think all these decks. I think you can tweak like a couple of these numbers, but like generally, like this seems like it's pretty good. Like well, we lost against like Scam having like the Necro Dominant Shieldred combo out, right? And there was not really anything we could do once that happens. And then we lost. Yeah, we got a really bad like game 1 against NATO, and then just barely like missed killing them in game 3. So we did the best we could with that. So yeah, it's fine. But I don't know, like yeah, I feel like in general we should yeah this looks like it's pretty strong. We have way stronger tools than we used to. Like Harbinger of the Seas absolutely is just like fantastic. Our mana denial plan is actually very real now, so it can work very strong. Like we have seen these cards do what they're supposed to do, so yeah. I don't know. I'm very pleased with this. We'll definitely be playing this more. So everybody, I hope that you had a good time here tonight. I always have a good time when I'm here with you. Um, it means a lot to me when you guys show up for stream night because I don't really do this for money or anything. I do this just because I enjoy playing Magic with you all. So thank you for being with me today. Let's go and see if we can find somebody else to send you off to tonight. Here we go. Somebody's playing a Bant Nadu deck. Here, all right, we'll go and check that out. It's a new deck in the format. Why not? But if you are watching the replay on YouTube, do me a favor and please hit the thumbs up. It would mean a lot to me. That's all I ask. Whoops. Let me turn off that.
Now I'm just gonna like.
So otherwise, I'll see you again next week. Yeah, this is pretty strong showing, I'd say. We were very close to our 4-1. We'll get there again, I'm sure. So, thank you. We'll see you again next week. Have a good one. And leave me some comments in my replay. Tell me how your Merfolk experiences are going. See you then.
Wow, we are popping off. Holy shit. Just gotta draw